fix things now? Talking words?
Nope.
No?
Uh,
There we are.
yep, there you are.
Okay. Yeah, there is a delay, you goofball.
I'm sorry, I forgot. It's a big delay, okay? Oh, I hate the sound of my own voice.
Thank you. Sorry, forgot to move the sound stuff over to all my scenes. So, as you can see, we have a black box for Vazrik, aka Lorenzo. That might stay there until I can figure something out. OBS, the streaming software I use, updated recently. And because of that, the thing I was using for Vazrik's face is broken, which is annoying. So, I'm probably just gonna switch back to the old way, because the old way works fine. It's a little more tedious, but it works. I'm just a little brain dead at the moment, because I've been working on modding a 7 Days to Die server all day, and my head hurts. So welcome everyone. I hope you all had a good Christmas break. I say Christmas break like everyone's in school. Had a good 2 weeks for the holidays. I wanted to do more streaming in between now and then and host some minor things, but I had internet issues and then some things came up. And well, yes, it's been a little hectic, but we're in 2022 now, so things should be better, I say with a lack of conviction.
2020 new.
It's awful.
Yeah.
But yes. We do have Corbus here, we do have Eudocia here. As I stated, Vazrik with Lorenzo will be here shortly. To catch everyone up on what happened. And a bottle of Sprite. I thought you were going to say wine, but I guess a bottle of Sprite isn't that bad. So last time we were gathered here, our coterie took charge of the previous Isle of Limnos and took out our lovely Toreador, sort of self-proclaimed prince, without so much as actually saying it, Lord Defira. Lord Defira was vanquished, alongside Lady Cormac, who was very quickly dealt with, as her insanity was a danger to everyone on the island. And by sanity, most of us will look and go, well, most of the native players will go to it and go, wow, she was really low on her road, I suppose. The beast was speaking more through her than she through her own lips. But, in doing so, the week went on, without issue, and they were given free leave upon their ship. Additionally, Corbus embraced one of his own ghouls by the name of... What did we name him? Fuck. Or what did you name him? I also need to make sure that Harold is not visible. Haldemaris Lega, your knights.
Also embrace that other dude, Sir Walters.
Oh, that's right, you did. And Sir Walters, who was Lord Defiro's confidant and ghoul, would have been left without a master, Domitor. And in doing so, without knowing exactly how old Sir Walters was when he was ghouled, that could have some very detrimental effects. On top of likely not being fully healed yet, from the blow that Lord Defio dealt him. So, as a parting gift and also as sort of a... I don't know, would you say it's to keep someone on the watch? Or how would Corbus have defined embracing Sir Walters?
Well, on the note of him being injured, he would have tried to feed him as much blood as possible. Really, until he just stopped accepting it, which in his mind would be when he stopped needing it. And they would have trained him and embraced him, and he would tell him, I mean, without much hesitance as to why he was embraced. He was embraced because his master is dead. He's an established man. He's an established knight. He would be killed by the new lord, and Corbus needed another childer.
Cause I wanted to is the very last tip of that.
Yeah, a very fast answer.
I wanted to, and you're probably gonna die if I didn't. So
Yeah, I mean, you're doomed if I don't, and I need another one, and that's that. Good for you, it's good for me.
indeed. So, with that said, with a new childer in tow, and a ghoul in tow, Jezebel or Miri, still along the ride, as well as Antionette Infernado, which is Lorenzo's companion, Minotaur Sachet, the captain of the ship. Well, I guess not the captain, but Dominique's personal ghoul. He is the captain of the previous ship. They arrive, or you all arrive, in Athens. Shortly before you arrive, however, Harald, carrying the cursed blade of which he used to slay Lord Defiro, upon the night before you would arrive, he does not wake from torpor. Now, this is not exceedingly uncommon, especially if he would have been under the impression that there's nothing to do on a boat, which really there's not, going from Greek Isle to Greek Isle and just kind of doing your thing. But as you arrive on the following night, and he still hasn't awoken from torpor, Dominique takes concern with this and starts inspecting him and finds that the blade itself cannot be pulled from his body. Less his grip upon it and more the almost supernatural magnetism it has to him. Dominique, rarely a woman lacking any sort of emotional outputs, was concerned, and notably so, going through some discussions with both her childer, Eudocia, and Corbus, sort of came to the at least temporary conclusion that his torpor could very well be because he's choosing to be in torpor. It could also be his something to do with the sword, and as such, Dominique has requested, though without knowing the severity of the whole situation, because she herself is not taught well in these things. She has the theology behind it, but doesn't have the occult to know a cursed item when she sees one, or rather, how they work. She is requesting that, alongside Eudocia and Lorenzo, you sort of speak with the Cappadocian known as Dionysus. He is one of three sort of, they call themselves the Archons of Athens, but effectively work as a tribunal princedom. Dionysus is fairly educated in the occult, and since you have to present to him anyway, she figures he might be more keen to not charge a boon to those of a youthful nature, as he would his counterparts, such as Dominique. So, she figures that might be the best option for you three to get some answers. She will do her own research and attempt to find a solution. She does state that if torpor resurrection is not an option, she would at the very least like to, as much as is possible for Kindred, or Canaanites I should say, rescue his soul from the sword, if that is truly what is keeping him bound. In such, that is sort of getting us caught up today, as Lorenzo, Corbus, and Eudocia. What the hell is the word for leaving a ship? Disembark! There we go. Disembark from your trader ship. Various servants and such going about, moving things around and taking it to what will likely be your new home. You got some word prior that there was a place waiting for you as soon as you arrived. Oddly enough, as it was noted, due to Harald's noted status as a knight, Corbus as a lord, and Lorenzo as a fellow Cappadocian, the collective three were more than enough for the Tribunal of Archons to provide you all with some comfortable accommodations. There seems to be a catch with it, likely, as there was noted discussions need to take place about the nature of your stay here, but other than that, I mean, if they're putting you up somewhere, that's more than what most would do. So, let me... Ooh, my neck. The docks are not that great. I apologize. I'm really bad at doing docks when it comes to Incarnate. But for our viewers, as our players will be able to see it however they wish, this is Athens. It's a little sparse, and it has regressed considerably since it's the height of its glory, but here it is. All the different places. I'll be posting the map itself properly later on in the discussion area for anyone who wishes to see it, but this is Athens. And here... our players. As stated, Vazrik will be joining us shortly, but as Eudocia and Corbus disembark, the docks are coated in a layer of mist. The moon is new this evening, providing no lights. The only light you have is what's in the distance, small little more illuminated than normal, simply because of how it diffuses light, how mist diffuses light. Torches, and likewise a few guards with lanterns at their sides. And they were instructed very purposefully to not get too close to those disembarking, noting that such things might disturb those on the boats. The lanterns, that is. So, Eudocia, Corbus, you have a companion in torpor, likely due to devilish means. Lorenzo's currently getting some books off. Dominique is doing all the handling of negotiating where your stuff's going to go, where would you like to go? You have not been summoned to the Acropolis as of yet, which is where court would be in this case.
You are asking me, correct?
Both of you.
Corbus would look to Eudocia. Have you ever been to Greece?
No, I've never left Constantinople, so this is new territory for me.
Well, we have not been summoned yet. Would you like to go sightseeing?
Eudocia would look around at the heavy mist and the new moon before chuckling and just, sure. We shall see what we see.
Maybe not much, maybe a lot.
And like that?
She shrugs her shoulders.
And he'd offer his arm to her.
Yeah, she'd take his arm. And, I guess she'd make sure Jezebel was safe, of course.
Jezebel's actually fine at the moment. She is currently... Why isn't that show up? What the hell? Oh, I know why. Okay. Jezebel would be currently working with the Dominique as of this moment. If you wish, she will come to you, but otherwise she's working to ensure everything that is, at least Eudocia's, is being catalogued properly off the boat.
Corbus... Sorry.
No, I was just gonna say Eudocia would just make sure that she was safe and accounted for. Would probably prefer that she stay there.
Oddly enough, Jezebel actually seems to be in a better mood now that you aren't on an island ran by 3 seemingly psychopathic canines.
Yeah. I don't blame her.
Yeah. It's a scary thing.
Corbus
Warms
maybe
Eudocia's cold dead heart.
to maybe ease some concern. He would assign Sir Walters to look after Jezebel while and guard her from a respectful distance while Haldemaris handles the day-to-day, so to speak, of getting all the men off the boat and transitioning his resources to their new domain, or their new place of living. I don't think it is officially their domain.
He will do so. The bond not quite as slavish as previously. He does take a moment of like giving you the really fine. He accepts it, but he's a little peeved that he has to play, in his mind, babysitter.
Corbus would ask him very pointedly if he'd rather be carrying crates with the rest of the men instead.
So Lega glances at the boxes almost contemplatingly, and then shakes his head, apologizing. He's still adjusting.
I thought, Walter. Do your job.
So, you both start off, and I would actually like... Ba-da-ba-ba-ba. Alright, who comes first? Corbus, go ahead and roll me a D100, and Eudocia, high or low?
Oh.
Low.
Low it is. traversing through, which path are you going to take? The roads are pretty clear, though they might not be super clear in terms of my artistic passions. I do have them listed here as the dotted lines. Are you going to head north, or are you going to head a little more west, maybe towards the east?
So, because they're sightseeing, they're looking through the kind of more historic area. So I imagine that it'd probably be like a nice little hustle around the dock in like an ugly circle, and then it would just be up the main road. And then you kind of swing by to get to the Acropolis.
Okay.
Those are the sights to see, really.
Sadly, yes. The rest are all crumbling to dust as you go. Even in the moments that are hidden away. So, as you are going, naturally you are passing through some of the shops, and who is this supposed to be for? Oh, yes. Okay. You're passing through some of the shops, and give me perception alertness, both of you. Difficulty 7. Because it's not quite dark, but the torches aren't doing their best.
Corbus would have heightened senses on for the effect of mitigating darkness penalties. Because, as you said, the torches are not doing their best. So would that be Div 6?
Mm-hmm.
Eudocia is not doing much sightseeing, or any seeing at all.
It's only a failure. It's not a true botch, thankfully. So, as you go, it is only proper and not entirely unexpected to have people who like to wait at the docks and wait for someone to head to a tavern or a bar, or the local person disembarking with alcohol and selling it just right off the ship, and see if they can't snatch a few coins. And as such, Corbus, you start... It's very subtle, but you hear a very soft padding that is just a hair off from your own steps, as if this person's trying to step in tune with you to avoid being heard. And they're clearly behind you, a pretty safe distance, but it still catches your ear a little bit as you two are walking. A quick glance even notes that they don't look terribly dangerous, assuming they are indeed human, but it could still be someone you don't want to deal with properly.
Well, we'll aura perception them as we go.
Alright, go ahead and give it to me.
One success.
Just barely. So, they are pale. Their aura is very pale. They are indeed one of the night.
Corbus would stop. And you turn to look at them more full on. Can I help you, son? Do you recognize me from somewhere?
You turn... God, I need to remove some people from the actual game so I don't have to cycle through them. You turn to see that man. Now, the owl is not on his shoulder, but you have also noticed that there has been an owl also following you. And it seems to be sitting on a roof's edge. As he pauses briefly, squints, and sort of offers a soft smile, looking if a bit sheepish. No, I was just practicing. You know.
You're terrible. But it's not bad.
I suppose that depends on what he's practicing.
Sneaking. You need to anticipate their footsteps. You need to not try to catch up, you must anticipate.
Oh. Right. He kind of looks down and looks back at you, and you realize that maybe that wasn't what he was practicing.
I don't think so. What is your name?
Now, it wouldn't do for a sneak to give out his name so easily, but you can call me Alex. Apologies, but you come with Lady Dominique, yes?
I do.
Then, might you hold still a moment and not be taking such casual steps left and right? I wish to try something. He steps a little closer and stares at you long and hard for a moment. He stares at Eudocia, squints, and then stares at Corbus, and squints a little harder. And kind of looks a little frustrated, but nods. Yes. Apologies. I have only recently learned a portion of my powers, and I am practicing them. I did not mean to upset you.
You are forgiven. I'm not mad.
Yes. At this point, he, now having satisfied his own desire for whatever it is he was wanting to do, he takes a step back and offers a bow as he looks up to the roof and seems to focus on the owl for a moment before the owl swoops down and lands on his shoulder. Alexandrin Escaraza. Pleasure to meet you. I am practicing my ability to discern those of the blood and those not of it.
Fair enough.
Hence my missteps. I had wished to not alert either of you to my presence, so I did not concern you, but on that note, might I inquire? What brings you both here?
As you noticed, we are with Dominique. I am her childer, Eudocia. We currently are just preparing to rest for the day, finding our bearings, taking a small look around.
I see. Well, I do hope that you have more than just business in plan. Athens, though not its height of its glory any longer, does hold many fun things. Should you need assistance with such, please feel free to ask around for me. I have a few shady looking individuals, but I assure you they mean no one any harm. We just ensure that the good stuff gets around, as some Canaanites have a proclivity for substances. But yes, I also simply deal in information as well. You will find the typical Nosferatu are lacking in this city, at least in the form you are expecting. Do be wary of those that dig.
You are very forthcoming. This is unfamiliar where we come from.
You will find the Archons have bred nearly a very forthright method of doing business in this city. We do not hold the mass amounts of political dogma and drama that often you find further north, and even in Italy. We have a slight border of just no man's land between here and there, and it seems to have made the suspicion drop a good bit. Though it might also be, if you ask me, some of the anarchs that... Apologies, one moment. Would anarchs be a pretty common term at this point, you think?
What's the year again?
It's 1205. I feel like that's just a really... Now, I've previously only really used it in Modern Knights games, so it seems very awkward to say it in a Dark Ages game, now that I say it out loud.
Anarchs in 1205? I don't even think there are any yet.
It's the rumblings of the Anarch revolts. They're slowly starting to come forth. And notably, Athens is not terribly cracking down on them.
Yeah, but... So, it's very ambiguous as to when the term anarch is first coined and when they actually start doing things, since most of the rumblings about anarchs actually doing anything important won't happen for 200 more years.
That's fair. I have a better term then. Excuse me. The ones who wish to subvert authority, the revolutionaries, I'm sure you've heard of them. Haven't really done anything of note, but the Archons are afraid to give them reason to start doing something a little more drastic. That Dionysus is quite in his princedom, was quite the calm individual. Very unassuming. Somehow he's made it this far. But yes, forthrightness has been the better form of business in Athens as of late, especially since the blazing it just went through. Speaking of which, do be wary. The northern Agora border has a bit of a problem with sickness at the moment. It was the worst affected. I say that for my own blood rather than your own.
Sickness.
It's a small...
Immortal sickness or a...
Have you not dealt with those plagued by sickness? I suppose not. Well, less of an issue for us on a cough level. More of an issue for other those not of Cain's blood. They will find themselves sick, and if your source of vitae is disturbed, you'll find yourself growing similarly sick. We can spread through nibbles here and there.
It can be problematic.
Yes. I simply do not wish you to casually happen to be up there and nab someone who might be a spreader of this sickness. It seems mild enough, but it's also... He pauses for a moment, his eyes looking to the sky and then kind of over his shoulder, as if he sort of realized something. It is also concerning, as it's been pervasive for the past few months. Centralized to that area, but odd. No one we know is feeding up there, and yet it still goes. I don't know. You are of Lady Dominique's blood, meaning you are a Ventrue, if sources are correct. And you, sir, Warden of the Night for our Lady Ventrue. What might you be, if you don't mind?
I'm Corbus son, or the proud lineage of the Tzimisce.
Oh my. A Tzimisce. This... peculiar. Aren't you a little far from home?
He'll tilt his head at the man, and he'll say, "Not anymore. I'm not. You're merely the frontier of the new empire. Or have you forgotten already?"
We have seen few of your kind here, to say the least. As frontier as you might think this to be, your kin do not reside here in any great amounts. I've seen one in the past 3 years, even. At least one willing to claim such.
You know both of our bloods now. Would you be willing to share your own?
By the way, he was referring that the Latin Empire, the Crusader state, just conquered Athens.
Mm-hmm.
Which connects to...
He's more speaking to the fact that your kin just aren't here, which is... Upon all my research, they should be, but none of the Athens by night has Tzimisce anywhere. And I'm just like,
yeah.
What?
They never had a lot of presence in Greece. They had presence in everything around Greece.
Yes.
But Bulgaria's right there, so you watch your mouth, young man.
They're right over the fence, I swear to God. Don't give them a reason to come here.
Yes. And if everything goes well with my stay here, it will remain that way. Not give it any reason to change.
I assure you that wasn't meant to be offensive. As for my lineage, I am... I am a gangrel, if that wasn't obvious.
Is the sharing of blood disciplines common here?
One would say no. On the face, no. Though, the amount of those in power who walk around casually at night without so much as a torch or small lantern in hand, and the small flicker in their eyes, they either covets the powers of Auspex to a great degree, or they are otherwise trading with some of my other kin in the city. Though, don't let them hear you say that.
I do not know how tight your clan's monopoly over night vision happens to be, but I suppose you would know better than I the price for a good set of eyes.
The price is usually pretty high. I would personally not wish to trade with such things. It makes being a good sneak a bit harder. Though, I have found use also in the powers that you and I now share. Auspex. Again, as previously stated, I'm still working on it, but with that said,
Well, I'm here if you are ever feeling a facelift. I'm around. For the right price, of course.
hopefully you don't mean to lift my face up onto a wall, he says jokingly.
Corbus will smile and shake his head no. No, my friend.
Not yet, anyways.
Only if the Archons ask me to do so. Let's hope they never conceive of such things.
Give me perception empathy at that. Both of you.
Does aspects apply?
Aspects does apply so long as you're using the visual aspects of it.
I am, of course. Base stiff is 7 or 6.
Base diff is 7 at the moment.
Then never mind, I didn't roll 10.
Eudocia, hit me with it.
7 rolled. Woohoo!
God dang it! You have a
on
pretty
fire tonight.
You have a pretty solid dice pool for that as well. That isn't
Right.
that's like not horrible. And hello, JC Party. Sorry for the late hello. So I should also set that to ST so it shows up here. That's who the coterie is speaking with, by the way. Sorry, I forgot to show that to everyone. Corbus, you do notice he sort of flinches at that, like that might be a very real thing at times. He might not be particularly liked by the Archons. However, he does regain his composure pretty quickly. Yes, the Archons. They would find it likely very tedious to ask you to hunt me down if I didn't want to be found.
It was jest, friend. Why are you defensive? Are you concerned?
Hardly. I simply like to make sure that people understand what they might be dealing with, that's all. Regardless, you two have a fantastic evening. Again, apologies for the awkward introductions. I will hopefully only need to be summoned whenever you desire some information.
Of course, Alexandra. Before you go, I have a question.
By all means.
Is everyone allowed to be in this domain? In this area here around the Acropolis?
Tell you what. The answer to that is simple, and I will give it to you regardless. Would you like a quick rundown for a trivial boon?
Trivial boon. Done.
Excellent. And of course, this is including your lovely friend here. Alright. So, this is the Porta Piraeus. Piraeus is open territory for any kindred. They are permitted to be here, but not feed here, as business is consistently done here. Penax is the next place. It is of the royal blood. It is where all the really wealthy and well-off tend to be. That extends from just the edge of a Propelia, all the way down to the edge cliff. Be wary, though. the archons and the trusted friends are very territorial of such things, but it's not the hardest thing to get away with. A little nibble here and there. Crocropia. That is where most tend to feed. It is not quite the slums, but it is the workers. The one thing to consider is who you are feeding on there. You do not wish to feed on those who, well, work on the Acropolis and maintain it, doing such and a notable enough times, and the archons and the sheriff, the paladin. I'll say paladin because I always find it awkward that a sheriff is a proper term in the Dark Ages. I know it is a term, but it always sounds so modernized. So we'll use paladin for now for sheriff, if that's alright.
You do, warden.
Yeah, I guess the other thing to point out is that while it is totally a term, it is not a term from this part of the world. It is I believe it is a Scottish term.
Yeah, it's more in the Scottish England area than it is here, and it feels so awkward to say because it's such a still a modern term, and it bugs me.
Yep, it's an Anglo-Saxon term for the king's tax collector,
God,
like the one who would force money out of lords.
That's appropriate, but still. Warden I do like. We'll give it Warden. The Warden will likely investigate if enough workers are missing from their work. The Toreadors tend to like being there as well, so do be wary. They will talk your ear off about the woes of their current artistic endeavors. Alsos Artemedios is an interesting place. I recommend being wary when going through there. Most of the individuals are very taken aback by more conventional ideologies. He says this while sort of gesturing towards you. It's not a lack of faith. It's they do not wish to be preached to. They have their own temple, and they go to it quite vigorously. It might just be a shift in ideologies, especially considering what has happened recently, but I'm unsure. It's a little odd.
Omegan, who does not care for me?
Alsos Artemidos. The lights green-blue area.
People.
Yes.
And who of which is their god, do you know?
It is still God. It's just, I think someone's playing games, if I'm being totally honest, and they're trying to cultivate their own portion of the city and make a push for declaring praxis over their own domain. But who knows?
None of my business, I suppose.
Indeed. They're not spreading the other end of that, so I suppose that's good. Keramekos is off limits if you want to keep your head. Dionysus is a forgiving archon, but if you so much as touch someone who works within his cemeteries, he'll ensure you do not leave the tombs. The fields of Demeter, obviously, who's going to stop you? But the pickings are slim. Hephaestium, a place I personally recommend, but do be wary, as that is where some of the the less detrimental Nosferatu are. You'll know what I mean when you see them. But yes, they tend to head there as that is the hard industrial area. Then you have Agora. Agora is the place where most like to be. It's safe, it's sweet, and, well, if you ever need to find a Bruja, that's where you're going to be. It's easy to find any number of people to taste, but you do so too often, or do so in a way that is uncharitable to those that the Bruja claim to look over, and they will find themselves, you'll find yourself at the end of their aggression. And it might not be something they consciously think about, the way they wield that anger of theirs. Lastly, you will find few meals here, but it should be noted, the Valley of Dionysus divides the trade roads here. It is not actually named by our wonderful Archon. It was named prior to this. Supposedly, people go missing there when they're lost of joy at the world. They wander the Valley of Dionysus and magically vanish for a time and reappear traumatized. Sometimes to their benefit. I've seen not once but twice a man who's come back from such adventures, stricken with bliss, to the degree that not a thing here could give them pleasure anymore. We found them later thrown from a cliff.
In this land I come in many others. It is the gangrel of which we have the closest kinship. Where would I find more gangrel like yourself?
Mostly, they do not like to dwell in the city as I like. I personally enjoy the alleyways. It's like my own little stone forest. But my kin prefer Terra Tiscardia. It is the great forest to the north of here, just next to Karamekos in the fields of Demeter. They are a little territorial, but they're not going to try and cut your throat out upon stepping into their territory. They simply will watch until they feel they can approach you properly, or, if they think you a threat, kill you quickly.
Would you introduce me sometime?
He pauses for a moment, as if not actually expecting that question. I can attempt to do so. As stated, I am more fond of the stone alleyways here, and they tend to segregate as such, but they are more accepting of me. I can broach a conversation.
Thank you, my friend. We should speak more in the coming nights. I would consider that introduction a minor boon.
A minor boon per individual. If it's just you, then yes. He kind of looks over to Eudocia and gives her a once-over. Clearly, taking her in, for all that's worth. If the lady wishes to come as well, it would also be a minor, and any other compatriots you wish to bring with. It is unwise to bring more than a couple, however. They will assume it is an invasion of their territory.
Understandable.
But yes, by all means, I will speak to them this evening and broach the question and see if they are inclined to meet with you. Very rarely do they simply say no, but who knows. Nights recently have been a little tense. things have been very tense. But yes, watch for the Nosferatu. They are a little bitey in this part of the world.
I will heed your warning, friend. Thank you.
Of course. With that, he will look to Eudocia, if Eudocia has anything to say, or is she satisfied currently?
Yeah, not. She just sits there with her hand on her hip, watching the conversation. She doesn't have much to add. She's just listening.
You can both add Alexandrin as a .1 contact. As he steps back and offers a very practiced and actually quite formal bow, and then turns and sprints away with a pretty practiced form. One might even say he has done running before from a professional standpoint.
Interesting.
Fascinating young man.
That is a word for it, yes.
Oh, Eudocia, did you not quite care for the little kangaroo?
I've interacted with my fair share of street urchins. His, insistence that the information is readily accessible and not, needing to be charged for is dubious at best. I do not distrust him, but
You do not trust him. I agree. We will see how it plays out, but I'll smile at her. I didn't know you were quite so vicious to street urchins. Have they offended you, Eudocia?
no, not typically. But they tend to see a woman wandering the streets and think she is an easy target, whether it is to pull at her heartstrings or pull at her purse strings.
Question. Sorry
Shoot.
to interrupt you, Eudocia. Actually, quick question for T. I forget, do roads show up on the first or second success of a Auspex check?
They don't show up on any aspects check. If they've changed their virtues from conscience or self-control, there is an associated awareness test.
They have auras, which is what I was referring to. I thought that was related to Auspex, but I suppose not.
No, the aura bearing basically it states a bonus, and when they're at 8 or higher, it gives them a bonus on certain rolls, and if they're at 4 or less, it gives them a negative on those rolls. So for humanity, it's appearing human. For Road of the Beast, it's menace, I think, so scaring people. That kind of stuff.
Alright. Okay. I couldn't remember. I was sitting here like, Alright. Alright, we're gonna swing to Vazrik since he has arrived. Welcome, Vazrik.
Hello.
How's your stomach?
Awful.
I'm sorry. So, while you are busy ensuring your books did not get improperly sold, disposed, or otherwise, you notice that Corbus and Eudocia decide to take a bit of a walk since they are not responsible for really the luggage, and neither were you, but they are your books, and
What's a scholar without his books?
yes, and most people who aren't scholars or even educated moderately tend to not be terribly respectful of literature, especially if they're more concerned with the other variety of money-making opportunities that they're shipping in their boats. So,
How dare they?
once you get yourself off the boat, Antoinette has mentioned that she will likely be returning to your sire, her proper, I guess you wouldn't call it master or domator, but the person she's supposed to be actually watching, sometime tonight or the next evening, as soon as word gets out that she has arrived. That will notably make it where you are kind of on your own for the most part, but for now she stands with you. You are briefly approached. I say briefly. You are eventually approached, someone noticing all your books, by a man who seems very keenly interested in them. As he comes to you, staring more at the books than you, and he provides a hands together and then sort of does a head bow, less of a full body bow. And he offers a very broad smile, seeing your stacks of books and boxes therein.
Is there something... Oh, okay.
That man. And he offers a smile.
And I've never seen this man before now, right?
Correct. Good evening, good evening. My name is O'Shea Meritodora. It's a pleasure to see another academic in the city. Might I inquire your profession?
I am a scribe.
A scribe? Do you not study anything but how to copy the literature?
Not necessarily, no. The translating that I do has offered me the opportunity to learn very much from other cultures. I take pleasure in my work because of that.
You bring up a notable difference between the typical scribe and yourself. You can actually translate. How many languages do you speak, friend?
Let me pull that up again real quick. Where'd my character sheet go? There it is. Which language is he speaking in right now?
He would be speaking Greek, though with a bit of an accent.
Can I make a check to identify his accent?
By all means.
Okay.
You might not know what exactly to roll, so give me a minute.
Yeah.
You can do... You don't... Actually, what do you have? Because I don't remember. Do you have any secondaries? Let's look. Boop. You do not. Okay. You can go ahead and give me a Wits Academics then, please.
Okay. We'll get that on here. Academics. With a difficulty of 6?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Alright, you get it right on the dot. He is clearly his accent is clearly of Middle Eastern origin. If you had to guess, probably Egyptian, but...
Okay. I'll answer in Greek. I speak 6 languages, including this one. And then in Egyptian, I'll say I also speak Egyptian.
He looks at you with a bit of modicum of being impressed. His jaw dropping a little, his eyes widening, his lips doing that curl thing. He then turns it quickly into a smile. I see. That is good to hear. I am in need, not specifically of that, I suppose, but of someone who is intelligent, but also well versed in different languages. This is quite a boon. I have manuscripts from across the more northern nations, heading further west, and I wish to have them translated. I came across them from a merchant, and he saw no value in them and sold them to me for coppers. As such, he sort of waves his hands. I could use someone who speaks a great many languages to decipher them.
I'm always willing to push the advances of knowledge. Would you be willing to assist me with my luggage? I have a bad leg, you see.
He pauses and gives you a query, and then sort of gets an understanding nod as he turns over his shoulder and he barks in Egyptian. Servants, come! This man needs his luggage moved. And you watch as a veritable horde of servants come scurrying along in, relatively speaking, robes. They're not bad robes. They even have shoes on. They're fairly well dressed, but they're clearly dressed for work, not for presenting. As they look to him, and he sort of points to all the books and whatnot. One of them pulls out a satchel and puts some of the loose books in there, so the overflow books, and then sets it on top and ties it to the boxes of books, and the rest sort of leverage them up and look to O'Shea. He looks back with a bright smile, clearly proud of himself, as if he was the one lifting those boxes for you. Please, where do they need to go? I will happily have my servants take them there for you.
Where is it that I was planning on staying again?
You still have to present to the Archons before you actually know where that is.
Yes.
You could just have them take them to the Acropolis for the time being.
Yeah. I'll have them take it to the Acropolis. I think that... I'm so bad with remembering names. Sorry, I'm just going to look at the... I think that Antoinette was going to head that way to meet up with my sire anyway.
Possibly. So, at the very least, to escort you there.
Yeah. I'll say that... I'll say to Antoinette in Italian, since she understands Italian, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'll say to Antoinette that since you're going to meet up with my sire anyway, or rather Lord Ernest Fernando anyway, why don't we walk together there? And then I'll go present myself to the Archons.
And where do you wish O'Shea to take? Are you telling him to take it to the Acropolis as well?
Yeah, I'll tell him to the Acropolis. I have business there after I am done with some other matters.
My. Politician as well as a academic. I have definitely found an interesting individual. Yes. Servants, please. Carry these to the Acropolis. He says that in Egyptian, of course.
Mm-hmm.
And he lets them go ahead a little bit and starts following behind, sort of expecting you as well. He seems to want to chit-chat a little bit. Do you humor him?
Yeah, I'll walk along with him.
So, the gist of it is apparently he has some manuscripts. He says manuscripts. They're more like a detailing of someone's experience up north in the I guess technically the land of the Gauls during this time. So basically Germany,
Perfect.
France, and that sort of area.
I know both French and Germanic, so this should be cakewalk for me.
Should be, one hopes.
Should be. Unless it's in an older dialect that I know,
Uh-oh.
or older text. Ari, don't bark at me.
I'm not barking.
It's so awkward when you share the name of my dog. Hold on a second, I'm going to calm her down.
You're fine. And hello, White Noise. Hello, Hanaske. Sorry for the late replies. I am between like 4 different screens right now, so apologies. Bond, thank you for the hydrate and the posture check. No.
Like 3 more monitors to your throne.
I really need that. Yes, for anyone who wants to buy me things, I have a wish list down below.
And if anyone would like to buy
Okay.
my VTuber, what would it be, client? I don't know, I'm her manager, but if you want to buy her things, she has a throne as well. At the Fox Queen. She would deeply appreciate it, though her things are less needs and more just wants.
Okay, sorry about that. My dog is
You're
calmed
good.
down.
You're fine, I got some promotion in.
God bless. But yes. So basically, what happens is he tells you that there are the accountings of someone who traveled up there. Took down the notes in the native language, and it looks to O'Shea that they are individuals who were learning the languages as they were going. Like, they seem to have had some knowledge of them prior. That, or waited until they understood enough to make to make sentences out of. But it's really hard to tell because he doesn't speak them. Now, the issue he's running into currently, beyond the languages, is also that he's had a bit of what he thinks are academic thieves trying to take his work. People who are consistently following him about here and there. That's why he's kept his servants around, he claims. He's afraid they're going to start breaking into his house, so he's kept the servants with him to keep them from even kidnapping him, and he's hired more guards for his house. So the downside is he hasn't been able to sleep very well for the past few nights, or the past month actually. He claims, at the very least. He could be exaggerating. And as such, since he hasn't had good sleep, he hasn't been able to do any transcription of himself, or trying to translate, because he can figure this stuff out if he has enough time and less distractions, but it's been so busy. He figures having another academic to help bounce ideas off of, he might actually get somewhere with it.
Yes, when one is unable to complete their work, reaching out to another is perfectly understandable and recommended. I can help you in this, but I need to know that my life won't be in danger as I'm doing it. I don't mind a fight, but if the work is destroyed in the process of defending myself, it will be rather disappointing. How many guards did you say you have?
I have 6. They patrol and they keep watch of my room of archives. They are reputable sort. They do not seem interested in the academics themselves, but they have already noted those who are following me, and I wish them to keep note of that, and hopefully they won't be deterred, or rather, they will deter my enemies. I suspect that there might be any one of the other Greek academics within the city who desire to take my work and publish it themselves. And naturally, if I'm having you work for me in my own house, I figure it will not be an issue that you would steal such things.
By the way, as we're speaking and walking, I'm going to activate my Auspex and try to take a look at his aura.
Alright, by all means, give me that perception, empathy, difficulty 8, I believe.
Okie dokie. Perception. Empathy, there it is. One success.
The man is human.
In.
He is a Kain.
Okay.
He seems to be... Oh yeah, your Harry specialties. Never mind. I was like, that's 2 successes. What am I talking about?
Yeah, I only have 1 success right now.
Yeah, you're fine. You're fine. Okay. Yes. So he is entirely human, at least from what you can gather. So either this is a kindred with some really, or a Cainite, excuse me, with some really interesting aura capabilities, or this is a legitimate human. He does not talk like he's in the know, per se. He seems to be rather mundane, all things considered, and even for your personal studies, this might not be the biggest venture, but if there's people that are after it, maybe there's an inkling of worth here. There's value in what he has. Maybe someone knows something he doesn't. Maybe it's a wild goose chase, who knows? At the very least, it might be entertaining.
True. Tell me, this group of people or person, do you believe they're stalking you right now as we speak?
I've not seen them currently. They don't stalk with the persistence of a mosquito. They stalk with intermittent interests. Maybe when I get too close to where they live or something, or maybe start going places they don't want me to or want me to go. I'm entirely unsure, but they definitely follow me home as I get closer to home. They stick to the shadows. I never really see them, if I'm being honest. It's more just a feeling that they're there.
Instinct is often a good thing to listen to, but do not let it cloud your judgment. Perhaps you'll be jumping at shadows at some point. But have you seen any of these enemies on the premises where you keep your items and people?
He ponders for a moment as if he wants to say yes, but he hesitates. I have not seen them directly, but I have. One night, whilst I was taking my own notes, I looked up at my window and I could have sworn someone was there watching me. I could feel it. You know that feeling when someone is watching you from across the room. You notice it when a woman sees you and they are enamored with your looks and they want to get to know you more as a proper man. They often are quite notable. You feel it. But this, I could not describe to you why it felt like someone was there. My estate sits 4 stories high. There's 6 men you'd have to stack before you could get there. Yet I swear that window was filled with someone. Yet I could not see it. It was disturbing. I did not sleep that night. I stared for a long while at it and even took notes on it, and He pauses, his body shuddering at the thought as if he felt a sense of violation. I cannot speak more of it. I'd prefer to be within my own safe walls before I consider such things. Apologies.
Interesting. Yes, if you are more comfortable at home, I would ask a few more questions, if that is all right.
Yes.
When we
please.
get there, of course.
Well, you're currently heading to Acropolis.
Yeah, I am. Perhaps I will visit you after my business is concluded. After all, this book does interest me, as does your story.
Of course. He rattles off where his house is, generally speaking. He seems to... Or he resides within... So the way this goes is Pnyx, Pnyx, is the houses, the sort of the market area for the dogs. And of course the Porta Piraeus is also a part of that. Excuse me, I'm going to butcher this because I am bad at speaking Greek, but Propylaia?
Propylaia?
That hurts my throat to enunciate, but yes. This is technically, basically this entire area surrounding Acropolis is like where the elite of the elite, senators and that sort of thing stay. And, because of that, that is where he stays. He is a high academic, where he is not a senator or anyone of political value. He is friends with them, and often brings items he finds in his travels for exhibition at the events where they show off who knows who, and they're like, oh, O'Shea has this, and O'Shea will come by and present his latest find. So he will actually not be terribly far from the Acropolis proper, so he sees this as a boon. But after such, he does bid you good evening, and we'll see you back at his estate whenever you are done.
Yes, I shall visit once my business is concluded.
Excellent. Please, have a good evening. I will...
You as well. And thank you for helping me transport my books.
Of course. Fellow academia should be treated with respect and have proper servants for your work. Should you need any, I know a man who is very good at training.
I will keep that in mind. Thank you.
And with that, he slips away, and his servants set your things within a sort of a cubby area where supplies seems to be kept and as well as some weapons, it seems. Just technically under the Acropolis. And you are eventually met with, after a couple of minutes, Corbus and Eudocia. The both of you can continue that conversation you're having in IC chat. For those of you that are in my Discord server, you can actually read up on that, so you can get some of the background and some of the off conversations. So feel free to read up. It should be open to anyone who has the tabletop tag. If you don't have the tabletop tag, it's easy to get. Just go to the roles area and click on the reaction there. That said, Corbus and Eudocia approach. Notably, you approach the Acropolis, and the guards there do guide you, after seeming to realize what you are, guide you around to the bottom of the Acropolis, and into a small chamber there. This chamber leads into a longer hallway, which leads into what appears to be a more kindred or Canite-friendly senatorial area, where Dominique appears to already be. Jezebel is waiting at the door and gives a bright smile to seeing Eudocia approach.
Eudocia would return the smile, giving her a gentle pat on the head as she walked by.
And we're going to take a quick 2-minute break. Go grab a drink. Everyone hydrate. I just realized Corbus's player had to step away for just a moment. So we're going to take a quick 5-minute break. We're going to grab a drink. We're going to grab a drink, and we'll be back in 5 minutes. Probably less than that. I'll be here. I'm just grabbing a quick water. So I hope everyone is enjoying. We are getting pretty deep into this. This actually went a little faster than I intended.
I am having fun. I'm starting a embroidery thing. Getting it set up while waiting in between scenes.
What are you going to embroider?
A mandala. And mandala. A mandala. Yeah, mandala. Jesus Christ. Mandala.
A Mandela.
The Mandela effect. Yeah.
I know. I keep thinking like.
That's what I thought too.
That's what I keep thinking of that, and then I keep thinking of fucking Mendeleev, and then the fucking sweet pea guy. You know what I'm talking about?
Sweet pea.
Yeah, the like botanist who was trying to prove evolution and like
Oh, the sugar peas.
genetics, sugar peas, yeah, and like genetics. Mandela? I don't know. Anyways, it's a
Mandela? No.
Yeah, you know the lotus pattern.
Wait, hold on.
Anyways, yeah, it was
Peas guy.
at Walmart, and then I was at Walmart to pick up sewing needles so that I could stitch my patches and pins onto my sick jean jacket like a true punk. And I saw a bunch of embroidery things, and I was like, heck, why not? Grabbed some of that. So I've got this one, which looks really cool. It's like neon colors on a black fabric. And then I grabbed some of the sunbonnet Sues, which are super cute. Which are like these little girls who wear sunbonnets, and you can't see their faces, but it looks still cute. And then I grabbed some tea towels, and hopefully I can make a like Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday set of Sunday Sues. Or sunbonnet Sues. God dang. I saw a body pillow case as well, and like, I thought, you know what would be a really niche market? Embroidered anime girl body pillows.
You know?
I would not have the patience to do that. Maybe like a little pillow, but a whole body pillow?
You know? Just saying. Maybe.
New Ari merch just dropped, a hand-embroidered body pillow.
I would like that. Thank you. I didn't know you were gonna make that for me.
Yeah, I gotcha.
Such a sweet little manager.
Oh, it was just Gregor Mendel. That's what
Gregor
it was.
Mendel, yeah.
Yeah.
My boy Mendel.
Ah?
And the genetics.
Yeah, he was a Catholic he was a Catholic Christian scientist that
man.
was in St. Thomas's Abbey.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, I forgot he was a monk.
Yeah.
A monk and a fucking nerd.
Oh, yes, yes, yes. So,
You can be a monk and a scientist.
yes, you can, actually.
That just
Oh,
makes
yeah.
you a massive nerd.
That just makes you epic.
Anyway,
An epic
Do-
fucking nerd.
Corbus's return. So, Corbus and Eudocia, feel free to continue a conversation as, you know, everything leading up to, in terms of the IC chats. If you wish to continue that.
Sure.
But, as you two sort of approach Acropolis, there is an individual waiting there with the guards.
Is this before or after they meet me?
This is right before they meet you.
Okay, cool.
This is them going to meet you. I'm just finding the right person because...
Just making sure I don't say anything to them in character before they're actually in front of me.
You're
No,
just
I
yelling across the
understand.
city. Eudocia! Corbus!
Right.
Okay. You see... And I apologize because I realized a lot of the individuals I'm going to be introducing are just really pretty.
Oh, yeah.
It's a habit I have. I'm sorry. I like pretty things. I'll
Same.
just...
I'm not gonna complain.
Corbus is the most normal man of all time, and the only
Right.
normal man in all of Greece.
Right? Most average looking man in all of Greece. What an achievement.
So,
Something like brown hair with the fae.
Ooh.
in all
I like
his
him.
in all his flair, that's man, boy.
Doesn't have a beard, that's a boy.
Man, boy, bear pig. Wait.
I'm surrounded by feminine males. Thinks Corbus. Appalled by the lack of facial hair.
Even Herald was pretty effeminate. Little pretty
Okay,
boy.
so-
Harald looked like a woman.
Archangelo here greets you with a very flourishing bow and glances to the god. That would be them. Come, come, he says, and approaches and offers a hand to Corbus first. I was thinking, would he offer it to her or Corbus first? I am Archangelo. I am here to escort you into the court.
Hello, Sir Archangelo. I am Lord Corbus Thun.
A pleasure. His eyes then turn towards Eudocia, and you must be Dominique's child, yes?
Eudocia would smile and nod her head. Yes. I am Eudocia Bringus of Dominique's bloodline. It's a pleasure to meet you, Archangelo. Archangelo?
Yes.
Archipelago.
The pleasure is all mine to the both of you. Please let us hurry. I believe your other friend, Lorenzo, has already arrived. He found his way there a little easier with all the books and such. Dominique has requested that I escort you there, hence my waiting. Just so there's no concern as to why I was waiting for you. You're not in trouble or anything. And with that, he will turn and start on down. For the record, Archangelo, despite his more lean appearance, I'll say, stands about 6 foot. He is thin and looks like he might have been embraced probably around 16 instead of towards, his 20s, where, facial hair would be a little more thicker.
Thick.
Complaining.
So he is clearly more of a boy by at least current modern standards. Hello, Spooky!
Hello, Spooky.
Sorry, say hello to everyone. Thank you for the raid, sweetie, and hello, Fagorth, hello, Fluffy. We're doing well. I don't look at chat nearly as much. When I...
God, I hope he's an escort in the most wholesome of ways. Oosh.
Fagorth using
that
that
without
magic
thinking.
emo.
God bless. Alright, so, yes, hello chat, hello Spooky, hello those that came with Spooky. Thank you for all being here. Currently we are doing D&D night, which is actually Vampire the Masquerade night. It's the game we're playing. We are currently in Athens in 1205. We will likely be doing a time skip after this story, and our players will get a lot more XP to play with. I say a lot more. Not that much more, but more.
12 XP is a lot, right?
Yeah. 12 XP is a lot, especially for
12
Ari. She's stingy at giving out XP.
Look, if you go too quickly, you start getting in silly ages, and it doesn't make sense until you're actually old enough. Anyway, so, hello everyone. I'm Ari, I'm your Bizzle Bay. I am a demon from the Dark Abyss. We have Tua, who is the manager of the Fox Queen here. She is playing Eudocia. We have Vazrik playing Lorenzo. We have my friend. They're all my friends, but we have my friend who is not a a streamer or a VTuber. We call him T. He's playing Corbus, the man in red here. So thank you for coming. Thank you for being here. And thank you for the follow, Samurai1660 and Zombie. My sweet Zombie. Thank you all for being here.
Ventrue aren't like fun until they're in silly anyways. IMO.
That's or you hardline one of your disciplines. But
Yeah, that's fair.
as you come around to the, what would that be, southeast side of the Acropolis, and there's actually a lower entrance here, typically for maintenance it seems like, but there's another separate passage that seems to be locked that Arcangelo, upon greeting Lorenzo, thus bringing the coterie back together, unlocks this door and leads you in and starts taking you to the courts. A little more K-Night friendly in terms of, not allowing sunlight in. And because we all forgot this, I forgot that Sir Tanis came along. I believe you Googled him, Eudocia. Is this correct?
Boy Saint Tanis! I totally forgot about him too. That reminds me, did Corbus fix his pretty little face on our way here?
I would have.
How ghoulish.
We will work on that later then, because
Yeah, I
I
completely
kind of
forgot.
forgot. And then
It's okay.
Cassandra Galanis is with you as well.
Oh, that's right, yeah, my redheaded, Spitfire.
Indeed. For the players, that's Cassandra. Yes, that's a Dark Souls cosplay, ignore it otherwise. And this is Sir Tanis. He will have his face fixed upon next session. We just need to find a proper new face claim for him.
I believe I'm the one calling Cassandra as well. Right?
Yes.
Right.
Sir Tanis is with Eudocia, as is Jezebel. I'll put
Little Jezebel.
Lega under allies.
I'm totally ghouling this guy I met.
It's like
Feel like
I'm
I feel
presenting you
left out.
all. It's like I'm presenting you all people to ghoul in. Otherwise, maybe embrace later. And then we have Jezebel, Jezebel is notably not a woman. She is a very, more so than what we've currently seen, effeminate male. Was a street urchin, essentially, and Eudocia's backstory. I can't even say the coteries backstory anymore, because the three other Ventrue have fallen off. So Eudocia's backstory. I guess that's a good backstory for Eudocia, however.
Everyone leaves.
Jezebel was a street urchin who they found during the sacking of Constantinople, and picked up, and upon the arrival in Limnos, sort of found out that they were not indeed a girl. They're not. They cross-dress for the money, as it were. And that's basically what they had to do to survive. A little sad, but, well, it is what it is. Eudocia's backstory is a little depressing.
Yeah, well, I mean, like, literally months before the fall of Constantinople, she lost her daughter in the fires in the, whatever, lower district, I think it was.
Mm-hmm. So, we have three ghouls in total currently. As you enter court, you do realize there's a slightly uplifted, not really an altar, but like 3 seats there. And on those seats, you see that man. That man. And that woman. And they seem to be in a middle discussion as you enter. Alongside you and you, Corbus, and Lorenzo, obviously, Archangelo is bringing up the rear. And he does step past you to go introduce your arrival, announce your arrival, excuse me. But Lega is also present. He is currently waiting, standing next to Dominique. For those who are new, that's Dominique. As I previously stated, I apologize, most of the people I pick are very attractive.
You don't have to apologize.
On top of that, Antoinette has escorted Lorenzo, so she is here too. And all in all,
Where be Walter? My other son.
you left Walter back on the island, I thought.
No, I embraced him and took him with me.
Okay, last time you told me you want to leave him on the island, but that's fine, that's fine. Walter would be there as well. I'll have to unarchive his face. I don't mind that he's here. I just could have sworn you said you were leaving on the island for other reasons.
Yeah, I thought you were too, but...
It's not a huge deal. Alright.
Must have misspoke. I have nothing
was
for him to do there.
I mean, he'd
I thought you were
be
gonna
one
have
of
him
like...
take care of your land.
You'd have like one of 3 kindred there, so... Now it's one of 2!
We'll come back for the island someday. Make so Walter's the Lord. In like 10 years.
Right? So... the older man stands, and as soon as he does, the woman and the other man stand as well. And he holds his arms out as if welcoming you. Archangelo taking a knee. My lord Dionysus, Democritus, and Olympias, I bring to you the progeny of Dominique, Eudocia Bringus, the spoken for by Lord Ernest Fernando, excuse me, Lorenzo L'Agostino, and of course, the known Lord Corbus of, well, his blood, he will tell you. And with that, Archangelo stands and turns towards you three. Before you stands Dionysus, Demokritis, and Olympias. Bliss. Your introductions to them at their leisure, he says, and then quickly steps away and takes a seat off to the side. A notable A seat, not standing off to the side. He apparently has his own seat here. As Dionysus smiles with his graven, sunken face. Imagine he looks a little worse than what is currently presented. He does look pretty good, but he definitely looks a little more sunken skin than what is there. He
Kind of like he's somewhat mummified.
Almost, yes. He definitely takes care of himself somehow, though, as he doesn't look like some of your ancestors or some of your elders who will just let it go. He seems to take care of himself in some way to keep his skin not looking totally unnatural.
I'll have to ask him what skin cream he uses later.
Right? Your skincare routine, Dionysus.
Welcome to Athens. I am Dionysus. Please, present yourself before the archons of Athens, he says, and gestures to sort of the entire area is marble. So the floor is smoothed marble, one giant slab. But before them, there is a slightly discolored spot that is just lit enough for you to notice it, as he gestures towards it. And, who wants to go first?
Eudocia will step forward first, just since she was introduced first by a pretty boy, local pretty boy, Archipelago. And she will step forward into the lit up spot, giving them a polite half bow before righting herself, and it is a pleasure to be in your, oh gosh, would I say court, or would I say like Sacropia? Is that the term?
Acropolis.
Acropolis. Thank you.
So
yeah.
The Acropolis is technically above. There is a name, but I can't remember what it is because I forgot to write it down. There's actually a name for this court, but you likely wouldn't note it at this point. Court, I don't think would be inappropriate here, seeing as you're not a native. You wouldn't know if they had a special name for their court.
Pleasure to be in the presence of your court. My name is Eudocia, progeny of Dominique, who is the progeny of Titus, second of Gregor Dominus, third of the line Nefermid Isis. Nephimeri Isis, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I have it spelled out phonetically, so. I have come to your city accompanying my sire in my journey to become a self-sufficient kindred.
It would be Cainite during this time period. Apologies.
Cainite. My bad.
Mm-hmm.
And she will bow again before stepping back. Unless I have any questions or look insulted or...
No, you gave them basically what they need for the time being. You're not presenting as a fledgling, as in terms of like the first presentation, so
Yeah.
they suspect a slight bit more casualness than the average presentation. Who would take second?
I'll go.
Lorenzo, by all means.
Lorenzo will step forward. I'm going to turn the audio off just because boat sounds are messing with my head.
Understandable.
Hold on. There we go. Okay. Cool. I'll step forward and I will introduce myself. Say, I am Lorenzo Augustino. I was sired by Lord Ernest Fernando, accompanied here by Antoinette Infernado. I am doing research on my master's behalf,
Sire.
as well as my own.
It would be Sire's behalf.
Sire, not master, sorry. On my sire's behalf, as well as my own. Why did I say master? I'm also playing a Star Wars campaign on another day, so I got
Ah, nice.
myself messed up there, because I'm a Sith in that game.
Ah,
Oh, so you're the good guys. Okay.
yeah. Something like that.
Sure.
Depends on your perspective.
In my eyes, the Jedi are evil.
Yeah.
Alright. Dionysus nods his head and you're dismissed. And Corbus?
I'm Corbus Sanmer, son of the Vivoid Ioan Prokanvino. Lord of the Bulgarian Empire. I have come, Lord in the Latin Empire, to your humble territory.
Sorry, reading it. Whew, 1 second. As soon as I went to go speak, apparently my nose decided it was a great time to start a really long sneeze. Oh my god.
That noise was.
Oh my god. Alright. You will see a slight twitch from Democritus as he lifts his hand briefly. You speak of you speak of the hammer of the Tamir. Interesting. That is where your blood arises from. What's of their plans? Have you spoken to your sire as of late?
Not recently, but he is far more concerned with the wars in the Holy Roman Empire. Why did I say it like that? He's far more concerned with the wars in the Holy Roman Empire. I was sent to maintain peace in the cities of old and to ensure that the transition of mortal power does not influence or negatively affect the way you have run things for millennia.
I see. So you come with less weight than a diplomat, but the humbleness of a patron. Interesting. And at that, Olympius will also actually speak up. I see we are bringing a Ventrue, a Tzimisce, and more Cappadocians into our city. Lady Dominique speaks of trying to find a cure, or rather a fix, for one of her child there. Do any of you wish to enlighten us a little further about these details that might better enlighten us on what the issue might be.
Eudocia would step forward and dip her head. Yes, my blood sibling Harold. On our escape of the fires of Carthage, we came across a demon of sorts, and upon defeating it, Harold picked up its sword. In our travels since then, he has tried to have the sword blessed, but to no avail, resulting in fact the mass execution of finches around the church and destruction of its altar. Despite this, he continued to hold on to the sword, and when we were upon the ship on our journey here, he never rose from torpor, and it was assumed because it was, there's no reason to rise while on journey, but he has a death grip on the sword, and he has still not risen despite our journey ending. Nor has he accepted any vitae.
A most unfortunate set of circumstances. I would suggest speaking with some of the mystics within the city. Naturally, this does fall into categories that are better left whispered, or unspoken, let alone whispered. Be wary. There is already one individual we have failed to find. With this, you notice that Democritus squints at Olympias, who slowly turns into a smug smile. The individual speaks with beings of fire, ones wreathed in both external flesh of wings and crowns of horns. And though try as we might, the individual has slipped through fingers. Her eyes briefly glance towards Democritus, who seems to grit his teeth before bursting forth. You speak as if to tarnish my honor, Olympias. We did what we could. We could not account for other things stepping in to aid them in their escape, now could we? I simply wish to make them aware that such entities might be attracted to their companion. Is that so wrong, Democritus? With this, Dionysus's hands come up. Enough, the both of you. We have guests in our city, and they need to be treated with respect. We need not dabble them in our politics as of yet. No. To my understanding, Lord Thunmer, you have a few charter in your possession.
Yes, sir. This is my son, Holder Miss Ledger, and my junior son, Sir Walters.
And are they to be presented? Or
Of course.
Would you say they had enough time to actually learn the way properly?
No, they're not presenting themselves. I'm presenting them as my childer.
Yes, that's what he was asking. Are they ready to be presented themselves?
No, my lord. They are new to the night.
Very well. Then, as is the traditions, you will be responsible for them and their actions. They reflect you like you into water.
Of course.
And double checking, make sure I'm not missing anything. I don't think I am. Double checking. No one. Alright. Dionysus looks around the room briefly and offers a smile. With that, I believe we are done. I will speak to Augustino privately, if that is alright. The rest of you are permitted to feed carefully. Forgive me, I almost forgot. Per your currently encumbered by torpor companion, Harold Sir Kroll, his heroics within Constantinople have been heard, even if only small echoes from this region. Lord Thunmer, your title extends itself as well, and of course, my cousin Augustino. You bring great and good tidings with you, and for that, I have absconded a house that was or an estate that was previously standing for another. They have otherwise expedited themselves from the city and have not been back for several decades. So, since they do not wish to be here, I will be providing you the house down in the near the lower valley of my namesake. It is within the region of Cracopia. I would ask that, though you need not brandish swords, be wary and keep watch for strange happenings coming from the valley. The local Garu like to use it as a hunting ground, as well as other things.
Is he referring to this region right here?
Where
the... Sorry.
No. Cracopia.
Oh, I thought he meant like the southern side of his namesake. Okay. I was
No. So Cracopia encompasses this entire area right here.
Okay.
This is technically your house right here. For posterity's sake, that will be your house. He wants you to cover this. Yes, might as well move you both over there. Boop. Oops. Boop. He's asking that you essentially keep watch over this area, because the Garu like to make, in short, something mystical happens in the Valley of Dionysus. They're not sure where exactly or what it is, and otherwise the Garu tend to make sports of people who traverse through here and don't take the roads. Now, he claims those people are, expendable, because someone's that dumb, by all means. But also that the mystical sense, he does confirm what was said to Corbus and Eudocia by by Alexandrin. That's indeed. There have been some reports of people vanishing, and upon their return, they can't take joy in things anymore. And they have not once, but thrice thrown themselves from the cliffs to end their lack of being able to... They're not even really sad or in pain or anything. They just can't find joy in anything. It's like it's been sucked out of them. Things that they once took a great passion in, whether it were sex or food, wine, drugs, just don't seem to do anything for them. So they end themselves. At least that's what's being said. Who knows? Maybe it's something a little more nefarious. But they're asking you to basically keep watch of the southern gate here. And they do say that the blue line, this is for player knowledge, and I guess, let me get rid of these so viewers can see. The blue line here, that goes all the way around. Oh wait, you can't see that. That's funny. The blue line that goes all the way around and kind of cuts through places, that's the main thoroughfare for trade. The red dotted line that goes through the center of the city is the main thoroughfare in and out of the city. But this blue line hits a lot of the trade places that aren't directly connected to the docks. So there is a bit of trade that goes on here. And they say within this small area, you can sort of, within reason, dictate some of the pricings and how taxes work, essentially, as you will be in charge and lords of this area. And sliding back into Dionysus, does this sound acceptable to you three as a coterie?
This is very gracious, Lord. Oh, it is very gracious, Lord Dionysus.
Choked on your accent there, huh?
What'd you say, Tua?
The
Hello?
deep kindness that we graciously accept.
I accept as well. It is a generous offer.
Wonderful, wonderful. It is done in in hands and hope that you will make Athens your home for at least a while. In such, take care to ensure your home does not fall to rot. He says with sort of a sly smile and almost a half wink. And with that, he takes a seat, and the other two archons sit as well. For this, you are dismissed. Do watch for your goose, and note that those who practice or who have use of the power animalism are all who are allowed to have those blood-bound as a beast. Others must have the power of the blood that allows them to communicate and command these beasts. If not, they will be unceremoniously and without question executed to ensure that the silence is maintained. Is that understood?
Of course.
Eudocia would bow her head.
You have nothing to worry about on that front with me.
As expected. Otherwise, please take care and keep your ears open. If there's need for a court summons or otherwise, Archangelo will be the one to fetch you and bring you, or otherwise inform you of new decrees. Treat him with respect. At that, Archangelo steps up or steps from his seat and offers a bow to sort of double acknowledge his existence.
Eudocia gives him a nod of her head as well.
And with that, you are all permitted to leave. Unless you wish to say more to the Archons, or otherwise speak to anyone else.
Nope. Corbus wants to get to this new house of his as quickly as possible.
Yeah,
Review the
Eudocia would
grounds,
like to
get his
set
child
up,
settled.
Yeah. Get her ghouls and Jezebel set up and make sure Herald is...
Yeah, I need to
Not-
set up my study as well.
Make sure, like, you know, the servants didn't throw Herald out thinking he was a corpse or anything like that, you know?
He is currently in a box.
Okay.
He is specifically strapped into a box so he doesn't roll around.
I'm good.
I'm trying not to imagine that too hard because that sounds silly.
I know it's silly and ridiculous, but it's practical.
Alright. Let me load in the others here. Give me one.
Do like a
moment.
Snow White situation in the glass coffin above ground.
And naturally, as I stated, I will get Sertanus a better visage later.
Looking at stuff. I'm trying really hard to find like an average looking character.
I've got stuff. Don't
but,
worry.
like,
Don't worry.
Keep wanting to pick, you know, the
God.
attractive characters.
As you do. As you do. God bless. I am just struggling to find proper people. So, we now move. Whoosh! Welcome, players, viewers, to your haven.
I like how Eudocia is just instantly in a bed, as well as Corbus.
They
I
actually,
think we were allowed to explore it before
yes.
I left my token there.
I
My
see.
bad.
Ooh, a nice and edgy bed for a nice and edgy boy. Excellent.
Yes, I color coded these because I figured you'd all choose colors that were appropriate for your character. You're welcome.
Thank you.
As you
Yeah,
don't
I would have
Actually,
gone
wait.
with the red one on the far right, but I picked this one because it was a little bit bigger, so that Eudocia and Jezebel could share a room.
So, you arrive, and amongst your people here, I'm actually going to drag you all from your bedrooms. Whoosh,
Gosh,
whoosh, whoosh.
Ugh.
As, even, so you arrive, and shortly after your arrival, there are servants, so normal mortals, going about, putting things away, all that sort of stuff. You are visited by one final person this evening. And that is this man. Actually, I have Dominique inside, because she actually is staying elsewhere. She's just helping out because she has the servants. So, you are visited by that man. One of the servants likely went and garnered all of your attentions to bring you out. That man is... I literally just closed this thing as I was going to show it. He approaches and offers a bow, one hand crossed over his stomach and closing his eyes as he bows to not look at the ground. He then rightens himself and speaks calmly but with a bit of an accent in broken Greek. Not too broken that you can't understand, but clearly he hasn't taken the time to learn all of the Greek language, just enough to communicate properly. I am Roman Ashad. I am one of the ones who watches vigil over this portion of Athens. Know thus that you, should you need assistance, that you seek me out. I will usually be patrolling here. I am not the warden. I am but a hound for him.
Eudocia would look him over a second before returning the bow with a dip of her head. And it is a pleasure to meet you, Roman. We will be sure if we need anything, or I assume if we spot anything suspicious, we should garner your attention.
And provided you do not do anything suspicious yourself, I will be watching, both to protect and the other to ensure you are not a threat. I would be wary of your basement, though it connects. Likely the reason Augustino was permitted this is that it feeds into a very old crypt, one that I am almost certain has been torn through by the local tunnelers. So be wary, as they scare easily and have oft been an issue to keep the silence.
Thank you for the warning. It is appreciated. And I also hope that we do not raise any suspicions, as we do come with no ill intentions in mind.
Very few have ill intentions. Most have intentions that they believe are best for all. That is what I have found when it comes to those who have ill intentions. But we will let time be the judge of that. Your worth as Knights will be determined in the coming years, I am sure.
Eudocia would nod her head in understanding.
His eyes turn towards Corbus and then Lorenzo, though with one... Oh, fuck. Brain. With one from the leading party and another from that who works with the dead. Secrets seem to be about.
Yes. It seems to be a common commodity with those of our kind. I give you my word. I will keep my companions in check, and no harm will come to you and yours. If you feel that we have stepped out of line or crossed any boundaries, please let us know, and we will make sure that it will not happen again.
My Lord Hound, Corbus says, stepping forward.
Yes?
And he says, to give the proper introductions, I am Lord Corbus Stanley, offering his hand to him. And I assure you, you have nothing to fear.
He looks at it and then glances up as you finish your face. Forgive me if I do not shake hands with someone who could easily tear my arm from it. A precaution. I wish not to have too many habits of politeness when my life might be on the line.
Of course, sir. He holds his hand to his robe. He says, but I think it would be due to remember, sir. I have come alone, for the most part. An old man in the robe. He's stepping away. I assure you, if Clan Tzimisce wished this city bad intentions, I would be far from alone. I have come in peace.
But it does bring a concern, as until tonight, there were no Tzimisce in this city. Now I have two. So my concerns are rising. But And he raises his hand. Again, I come not accusatory. It is simply something I have noticed.
Understandable. It is a... They are an intimidating clan for even the toughest of our own. But I promise, and I give you my word, that they are here on good intentions and just accompanying Dominique and I. And if they step out of line or cause any issue, I will take full responsibility for that. And she gives a hard look at both Corbus and Lorenzo.
I'm sorry, I was distracted by my dog. What did you say?
She said, "Don't fuck up, because if you do, I'm gonna take the fall for it. And if I have to take the fall for it, I'm going to rip your testicles out of your throat."
Jesus. Well, that's not exactly what she said. She's politely saying she is willing to put you both on her back of responsibility, which she can't really do, but it's a kind gesture for someone
Very sweet of her.
For someone who is for the Hound, essentially. So Dominique, wow. Eudocia, give me a charisma expression. Difficulty 7, please.
Thank God.
Speak real good. Now here's a question. I will let you retroactively do this, but do you wish to use presence while you're doing this?
Ooh, yeah. I was thinking about that earlier and it completely slipped my mind. Yeah, I would like to use presence to give off an aura of like, you can trust me. I'm a friend. I'm your buddy.
Alright, go ahead and roll me presence, please.
Because that is... It's just awe, right? Which is charisma performance.
Unless you want to entrance him, yes.
No, I just want to awe him. Make him comfortable. So charisma... There it is, performance... The heckin'. There it is. Diff 7. Nope.
Now, I have to look and see who has the lowest willpower. Which, thankfully, is not anyone in the coterie. That's good. So, he gives a look between the two of you, or the three of you, and then his eyes focus on Eudocia as she speaks. And you actually see the twitch of a smile upon his lips, but he sort of turns that smile into an almost sarcastic chuckle. Let's see, nods. Yes, of course. If only the world worked that way, Lady Brinkus. I will, however, take my leave. I do not wish to trouble you any further this evening.
Though it is no trouble at all. You are welcome to visit any time if you have any concerns for me or my coterie members or anything at all. Please feel free to come by.
Of course. And with that, he will turn and he will do maybe a little showy, maybe just because he doesn't want to open the gates, but he just does like a straight up small 3-step jog and then jumps over the gates and sprints off into the night like some kind of fucking Batman.
How edgy.
Alright.
All right. So, welcome to Athens. This is where we're going to kind of wind down for now. How are you all enjoying so far?
I have a house.
This is great, man.
I have a house for me and my friends. Wonderful.
In case you can't see it, because it does kind of blend in, I didn't quite realize it until afterwards, but that right there is a door. It's a giant metal door, no less.
That leads to the under part, right?
Mm-hmm.
I also have a hard time realizing that this isn't. Oh, you can't see me. Pointing. There it is. This area is a indoor area. I thought it was outside.
Nope, these are all tiles.
Yeah.
Fire!
Notably,
Flames.
that fire is actually behind metal bars, and between the metal bars there's glass. Actually a little more sophisticated than one might assume something of this splendor might look. Also to note, obviously there are stairs here. This is 3 feet up. It's not that far. This is obviously a whole second story, and this is your courtyard area. It doesn't look pretty, and there's a reason for that, but we'll get to that later. This is a balcony right here. There is a doorway right here, so during the day light doesn't flood into this hallway. So this area is supposed to be a living area, if people wanted to add couches there or something, or if they ever want to make the day ghouls actually go do things, they can. But yes, this is your home. There are books here. This does count as, I believe, a level 1 library.
Huzzah!
You and Corbus will likely be in there all day. But yeah. Naturally, you can host here if you wish to start building herd, which I believe was something you wanted to do. And then, yeah, this is your home. Enjoy it. We will have
A herd
the
of loyal servants.
No, you typically want to keep those things separated, because if your servants are always around you, you're tempted to use them as your herd, or use them consistently as your herd, and then you tap your herd, and then you can't use your herd for the rest of the story.
Oof.
Yes,
Can't tap that ass.
No, that's what you have Eudocia for. I mean, Anyway.
Don't mix business with pleasure now.
Yeah.
I would say don't mix your siblings together, but so far
We're not siblings.
I know that's the whole predication of this original story was to have 4 Ventrue who all went through history together, and we don't have that, and it makes me sad. But we do have a Cappadocian.
I don't even like playing Ventrue.
I like playing Cappadocian.
And we have a Tzimisce. And I will slip in characters here and there of different clans and origins to sort of mix things up every now and then, as you guys might need assistance military-wise or otherwise. So I will be a little more liberal with my character usage. But I hope you all enjoyed. I hope chat enjoyed. I hope you all had a fun time listening in. This is a slightly shorter session because I need to prepare a few more things for the main story. But and I kind of wanted to get into this and see what my players wanted to do. But also, I'm glad you enjoyed. Once again, Eudocia is Tua, who is the Fox Queen Aiko's manager. She is our lovely Ventrue. Our Cappadocia is Vazric, a tiefling, correct, yep. Vazric? A tiefling VTuber. He's a blue one, even. And
tiefling half-drow, yeah.
And my good friend T. Tyrannon is playing Corbus. Everyone say good night.
Good night.
Good night forever.
I'm just a man who knows too much about VTM. That's why I'm here.
Thank you for coming.
I can't wait to wraith bomb the chat.
Oh god. Wait until you learn some fun things in the coming years. Because we're going to have... I think our first real downtime is going to be like 50 years?
I will have
Yeah.
I will have about 20,000 childer in 50 years.
a lot of work.
You might not. There is something that will be preventing that.
I'm like Norris, my ancestor. I might why. What is Norris your ancestor known for? Having unironically hundreds of childer.
You're gonna be like Casanova.
Except
Everywhere
with,
you go, your dick is in a woman. But except it's your vitae is in a ghoul, I guess.
Anyway, good night everyone. Have a good evening. Thank you so much for coming. We're going to go raid
Shadow Legends. Hehe.
we'll go raid Kimrai.
alright.
Kimrai. In 1 moment we'll do our debrief right after.
Alright.
Kimrai. In 1 moment we'll do our debrief right after. Oh hell.
Alright.
Kimrai.
Kimrai. Wait,
Let's
Raid
not
from
have
cancelled.
me. Yes, my bad. I
Did Kimrai
somehow
just,
unmuted myself and was echoing back at my own thing. There we go.
Also, I'm glad you enjoyed yourself.
Kimrai's cool.
I do this all just for you.
I had a lot of fun tonight. Tonight was great. Alright, ta-ta everyone.
Bye-bye.
Stay safe. Time.
Whoosh.
Just some sleazy 80s man name. And